Here's a few little unscripted thoughts on The Darkness 2, a game I've recently finished playing over on twitch.tv/Edime. Now, The Darkness 2 is a sequel to a game that came out on the Xbox 360 and I believe the PlayStation. Never actually made it to the PC, so I've not played it. They do have a lovely little intro cutscene, basically setting the scene and giving you the plot, I believe, of the first game in a nice couple of minute, really nice, stylish way. It's a game where you are possessed by the darkness. Now, the darkness manifests itself as two demon arms that come out of your sides, pick people up, rip them into, slice them into, alien their way out of their stomachs, all of that jazz. It's a very graphic game, and I believe the games are actually based off of a series of comic books. The story itself is quite edgy. It's very edgy, lost love, trying to find your love, get her back from hell. That's like literally it. The way it's told though is really cool. There's like a, how do I say it without sort of spoiling a 10-year-old game? There's like a separate setting from the overworld that's really cool and it's really well done. The ending as well, there's two different endings. One of them is very boring. That's not the one that I chose to do on my playthrough. But I looked it up afterwards and was like, oh, okay. However, I think they both work. They're both pretty canon and they're both options that you could reasonably choose. The actual gameplay loop itself is a lot of eating hearts to restore HP. It's an FPS and it's manic. Like, it's pure manicism, if that's even a word. The main thing you have to do is shoot lights, because if you stand in the light, you lose all your demon power. Sometimes you'll have an enemy come along with a light, so you just have to shoot at the light while not having access to your super extra demon strength. There's various perks and stuff that can buff up how strong you are. There's like an ability that stuns enemies for a few seconds with flies and all that sort of stuff. So there's a lot of choices you can make, a lot of different ways you can play. I ended up playing in a mostly focused on getting into melee range and just demon slashing everything. And then eating all of the hearts, picking people up, throwing them at each other. Like, the actual game is so hectic. Like, the first session I played through, I left it like, what have I just played? Because there's so much going on. You're like, while meleeing people, you're also trying to shoot people off in the distance, and it's just chaos. But it's a great chaotic experience. Like, the actual game itself isn't very long for the story mode. I think it took me about 5 hours this time playing through. Back when I first played it, I think it took 7.5, and that was 10 years younger me. So obviously I've got better at games apparently. That's something I've learned. And I didn't play it on a particularly hard difficulty this time. I think I played it on like the second of 4, which, you know, it's like I've said before, I don't really like difficult games. So for me, that was about the right sort of setting, I think. Throughout the game, there's also a few little boss fights. Now, the boss fights are fairly simple mechanics. There's a couple of bits as well where you play as a separate little demon spawn creature, which is pretty cool. It breaks up the gameplay and it turns it into a bit more stealth based. Actual graphics wise, the game looks really good, like really stylish. It's got a very cel shaded look, which, you know, some people like, some people don't. It's based off a comic though, so it makes a lot of sense to do that. And the way that it actually sort of looks in the world, really good. Really good. And the story, the voice acting, everything like that, really good. The actual voice acting on the darkness itself, love it. Love it. Really cool. It's a game I'd say if you can get it on sale, pick it up, because I'm sure it will go like 75% off on Steam sales and stuff, which would be like £4. And for, you know, 4 hours of fun, or even longer, like I said, it took me 7.5 hours the first time I played through, 5 hours this time. For 5 hours, £4, it's nothing, right? It's the price of like a coffee. Or half a pint. It's nothing. So I'd say give it a go if you like FPS games, because it might be something that you've just missed out on, and having the mechanic of the demon arms and stuff as well really adds to it. So that's a little my thoughts on Darkness 2 in 2022. Really fun, really chaotic game. Love it. Like, I'm so glad I went back to play it, because I had fond memories of it from playing it 10 years ago, and I'm glad to see that it's still held up today. So, thanks for watching. See you next time. Subscribe if you enjoy, all that jazz. You know the way. Blah, 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 blah. YouTube outro, and go.